today, we are going to discuss topic 2, philosophy in China. This is an interesting topic and also a very difficult topic for overseas students. How much do you know about China's philosophy? Maybe the first name in your mind is Confucius, because we established many Confucius schools all over the world. Confucius probably is the representative of Chinese philosophy. Then let's talk about this in detail. Chinese philosophy is the collective designation for the various schools of the thought. It developed independently of European and the other civilized countries. With its distinguished features, unique concepts, system, and expressive ways, Chinese philosophy has become one of the 3 philosophies in the world, the other 2 being Western philosophy and Indian philosophy. Chinese philosophy has developed over several thousand years. Its origin can be traced back to the Xia, Shang, and the Zhou dynasties. It is about 3,600 years ago. It began to take definite shapes during the spring and autumn period. It is about 3,000 years ago, and enjoyed thriving development because of the emergence of 100 schools of thought content during the Warring State period. Then let us discuss about what is 100 schools of thought content. In Chinese, we call it 百家争鸣. The spring and autumn and warring states period were a time of great social change, stimulating various schools of thought such as Confucianism, legalism, Taoism, and Moism, and scholars wrote lectures, debates vigorously, creating a lovely academic environment later described as 100 schools of thought content. For the development of ancient Chinese philosophy, I'd like to introduce the following 6 periods. First, the philosophy in pre-Qin times. Second, the orthodox philosophy during the Han Dynasty. Third, metaphysics during the Wei and the Jin Dynasty. Fourth, the Buddhist philosophy during the Sui and the Tang Dynasty. Fifth, newer Confucianism in Song and the Ming Dynasty. Sixth, application philosophy in the Ming and the Qing Dynasty. Then let's turn to the development of ancient Chinese philosophy. We learn some history about Chinese philosophy. The first period is philosophy in pre-Qin times. For this period, we just focus on Confucianism. Who is Confucius, and what is philosophy? Confucius' Chinese name is Kongzi, alias Zongni. He was born in 551 BC and died in 479 BC. He was regarded as a great ancient thinker, educator, and founder of Confucianism. It is said he was a very tall man, over 2 meters by today's measurements, but not a very good-looking man. Then, what is Confucianism about? Confucianism is a school of thought represented by Confucius and Mencius. Who is Mencius? Mencius was also a famous philosopher during the Spring and Autumn and the Warring States period. He was born in 372 BC and died in 289 BC. He continued and developed Confucius philosophy later and made a great contribution to Confucianism. The school of Confucianism takes the teachings of Confucius as its core thought and regards the words and deeds of Confucius as its highest code of behavior. It advocates benevolence, justice, allegiance, and forbearance, the doctrine of golden means, and values the ethical relations of man. It emphasizes the importance of family and the societal order. Children must respect and dutiful to their parents. Younger must obey the elder. The junior must follow the senior. The servant must serve their rulers. What is the influence of Confucius in China and all over the world? We should say the influence of Confucianism is so predominant or well known that the word Confucian can directly represent traditional Chinese life and culture. Confucianism is not confined to China. Neighboring countries such as Japan and Vietnam also embrace Confucianism in their traditional life and culture. The next important figure in Chinese philosophy should be Lao Tzu, the founder of Taoism. Who is Lao Tzu and what is Taoism? Let's discuss them. Lao Tzu was born in 571 BC and died in 471 BC. It is said Lao Tzu had a very long life, about 100 years. The comment for Lao Tzu is like this. Lao Tzu is an ancient Chinese thinker, philosopher, writer, and historian, the founder and the main representative of the Taoist school. Then the explanation of Taoism. Taoism is a school of thought founded by Lao Tzu and Zhuangzi. Who is Zhuangzi? Zhuangzi was born in 369 BC and died in 286 BC. He is a great thinker, philosopher, and writer during our pre-Qin period. He is the main founder of Taoism. Both Lao Tzu and Zhuangzi are regarded as the founder of Taoism. Later, Taoism was also called Lao Zhuang. The school of Taoism advocates the doctrine that the Tao is the course, the principle, the substance, and the standards of all things, to which all people must conform, based on the works of Lao Tzu or Tao Te Jing. Taoism promotes the belief that a person should live a simple life, not strive for wealth, fame, and power, which will only give one worries and trouble. With proper behavior and self-restraint, a person can achieve great inner strength and a prolonged life. The school favors the political principle of achieving good government through non-action. You may wonder, what is non-action? Non-action believes that we should take things according to their own course and doing nothing. It's the basic concept of Taoism, an attitude towards the world and the political ideology held by ancient Taoism. Then the second period of Chinese philosophy is the orthodox philosophy during the Han Dynasty. In the Han Dynasty, Emperor Wu Di insists the campaign of banning all schools of thought except Confucianism. He ruled out various schools of thought and chose officials from those who steep in Confucianism only. Confucianism became an orthodox school that served as ideological foundation of feudal rule throughout the dynasties in China. Orthodox philosophy advocated that heaven affects human affairs and human behaviors finds response in heaven, and the power of emperors are authorized by heaven. Natural disasters are heaven's punishment and the condemnation of human behavior. However, human moral conduct and the political and social upheaval in turn will affect changes in heaven. This theory, inspired by Dong Zhongshu, is at odds with Confucian's theories. He believed that man is an integral part of nature. Who is Dong Zhongshu? He was born in 179 and died in 104 BC. He is the idealist philosopher, statesman, educator, idealist philosopher, and the master of modern classics. He puts forward such important Confucian theories as the induction of heaven and man, and the 3 important guides, and the 5 constant virtues. The third important period is metaphysics during the Wei and the Jin dynasty. The time is around 220 to 581. Metaphysics in China blended Confucianism and Lao's doctrines and was based on the famous classical works of the books of changes, Laozi and Zhuangzi, known as the 3 profound studies. To explore the noumenon of the universe is the theme of metaphysics. It mainly discusses the propositions of existence versus non-existence, essential versus non-essentials, words versus ideas, fundamentals versus practice, and ethics versus natures, etc. The fourth period for Chinese philosophy is the Buddhist philosophy during the Sui and the Tang dynasties. It is during the year of 581 to 907. During the Sui and the Tang dynasties, Buddhism reaches apex. The Buddhist philosophy became aligned with the wisdom of Chinese philosophers. It mainly discusses the relationship between the subjective and objective. By analyzing the spiritual phenomena and the human rationality, it attempts to gain insight into the universe and human life. Let's move on to the fifth period of Chinese philosophy. It is newer Confucianism in Song and the Ming dynasty. It starts from the year of 960 to 17th century. In the Song and the Ming dynasties, the rationalistic Confucian philosophy was of great importance. A new Confucianism developed, incorporating the philosophies of Taoism and Buddhism. It mainly discusses the relationship between human beings, between man and nature, between man and society, as well as the nature of human beings. New Confucianism has two main schools, the school of principle and the school for mind. The former was represented by Zhou Dunyi, Chen Hao, Chen Yi, and Zhu Xi, who argued that rationalism was eternal and was a spiritual existence prior to the world, and that all things in the world were derived from rationalism. The latter was represented by Liu Jiuyong and Wang Shuren, who advocated that there's nothing outside the mind, no rationalism or reason outside the mind, and that subjective consciousness is the origin of all things in the world. The sixth period of Chinese philosophy is application philosophy in Ming and the Qing dynasty. This period starts from 14th century to 20th century. During the Ming and the Qing dynasties, philosophy focused on self-examination. The application philosophy sticks to the application of philosophy on the state affairs. People were searching for the answers to specific issues of the day instead of abstract study. Creative ideas were encouraged. Then let's discuss the basic features of ancient Chinese philosophy. Despite the varieties of schools of philosophy, basically, ancient Chinese philosophers share the same common features. First, stress on spiritual experience. Second, stress on practice. Third, stress on morality. Fourth, stress on harmony. Fifth, stress on intuition. The first feature is stressed on spiritual existence. ancient Chinese philosopher studies different kinds of philosophical problems based on reality and experience, but all of them paid attention to the study of existence. For example, Confucianism's knowledge of life through disposition and consciousness, Taoism's search for spiritual freedom, and Buddhism, nirvana, all reflect their pursuit of complete spiritual happiness. The second feature is stress on practice. One of the most important questions that ancient Chinese philosophers were concerned with was the relation between knowledge and practice. According to Confucius, to prefer it is better than only to know it. To delight in it is better merely to prefer it. In Chinese we say, 知之者不如好之者，好之者不如乐之者。To delight in it means to put into practice and gain pleasure from it. The third feature is stressed on morality. Essentially, every school of ancient Chinese philosophy was a kind of a moral philosophy. Almost every philosophy stressed moral practice. Through it, individuals could reach moral achievement, could enjoy things a healthy social environment could provide. Monarchs' benevolence and lower officials' loyalty, fathers' kindness, and sons' filial piety, elder brothers' friendliness, younger ones' respect, and friends' mutual trust. The fourth feature is stress on harmony. The consistent tradition of ancient Chinese philosophy has been its stress on harmony between man and nature, and also between man and man. Mencius said, opportunities vouchsafed by heaven are less important than terrestrial advantages, which in turn are less important than the unity among people. In Chinese we say, 天时不如地利，地利不如人和. This is well expressed the idea that harmony was the highest principle. Confucius further explained how to realize harmony between man and nature, man and man, man and society, and man and heaven through the golden mean. The fifth feature is stress on intuition. Ancient Chinese philosophy did not adhere to formal rules of structure and system in thought and often result in fragmented thoughts written on paper. It was through intuition and reflection on one's life experience that philosophical ideas were formed. Chinese Chan Buddhism, which is the integration of Buddhist theology with Chinese traditional thinking, preaches epiphany and emphasizes self-restraint and self-reflection by sitting still and reciting Buddhist scriptures. In terms of characteristics of Chinese ethics and morality, I'd like to discuss the following 3 points: seeking harmony and maintaining equilibrium, collectivism over individualism, spiritual life over material life. Then let us discuss characteristics of Chinese ethics and morality. Ethics is the moral principle for dealing with people. Morality is a social ideology which serves as the norms for people's lives and behavior. Morals keep social life in order and within boundaries through public opinion. Traditional Chinese ethics include both good and bad elements. Some reflect the high standard or moral pursuit of the Chinese people and embrace the ethic wisdom of lasting value, which others seem less relevant in modern society. For example, 3 obedience and 4 virtues, and 3 basic rules and 5 constant virtues have long been abandoned by Chinese people. What is the 3 obeisances and 4 virtues, and the 3 basic rules and 5 constant virtues? For the 3 obeisances and 4 virtues, these were the old moral standards imposed upon women in feudal society. Traditional idea of a woman is that she is a dependent being whose behavior is governed by 3 obeisances: to father before marriage, to husband after marriage, to son after becoming a widow, and 4 virtues: morality, proper speech, modest manner, and diligence. For the 3 basic rules and the 5 constant virtues, these were the social norms prescribed by feudal morality. The 3 basic rules are: a king should rule over his subjects, a father his son, a husband his wife. The 5 constant virtues generally refer to benevolence, righteousness, propriety, wisdom, and fidelity. In Chinese we say 仁, 义, 礼, 智, 信. Let's talk about characteristics of Chinese ethics and morality one by one. First, seeking harmony and maintaining equilibrium. To Chinese people, harmony is a powerful word. There's nothing cannot absorb and nothing it cannot cover. Harmony seeks peace, compromise, concord, and unison. Maintaining equilibrium is the ultimate purpose of harmony. Second, collectivism over individualism. Traditional Chinese value attach great importance to collective interest, the interest of society, the country, and the family has always been given priority, which that of locality, the part, and the individual is sometimes ignored. An individual's value can be realized only within society as a whole, as that is the groundwork of one's existence. Third, spiritual life over material life. Chinese people advocate morality in their behavior. Self-cultivation in morals is emphasized and is considered to be more important than one's material pursuit. This is fully characterized by showing filial obedience, being amiable to others, representing ordinary people, and appreciating moral conducts.